Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much again for joining me here. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Another look here at AVAX, seeing what's going on. If you've been looking for my YouTube channel for the last couple of days, just keep in mind it was just a slight hijacking from some hackers that stole my account for a couple of days and borrowed it for some stupid reason, just to go ahead and essentially piggyback off my subscribers. So apologize for any inconvenience there. It's been a complete pain in the butt on my side, but now we're back on track here. We're going to look at this specific coin, obviously AVAX, and see what's going on. This is actually a good coin here. We took some solid profits on it. So here, what, 68% from Solana, and there we go, AVAX 18%. It was a tight short from the $24 to $23 range before the before the Fed meeting, and we could see we swept majority of that lower liquidation level. So we're going to update our charts here and kind of talk a little bit about future reference, what's going on now that this 1 billion plus in liquidation has totally been swept. So we're going to take a look at some liquidation levels too. If you're new to the channel, even if you're not, hit the like button, comment below if you get a chance. Just at least hit the like button every single video. Get this in front of more people. Really appreciate that. And help those moon boys stop getting so many views, because not everything goes to the moon, folks. While it's nice, some coins are doing very well, it's just kind of a ridiculous situation in all reality. Like, literally just saying everything is going to go straight up is pretty dumb. So anyways, I'm only saying that because a lot of folks come over to my channel as a result of getting destroyed by those others. And my goal is to help you just be more consistent, really. Again, I'm fairly conservative, extremely conservative according to some people. And that keeps me in the market, right? While I don't take massive monster profit all the time, I am definitely surviving the ebbs and flows and making sure that my community does too, okay? So if you want to be part of that, CryptoCache.tag is a link down below. Check it out if you want. $29 is that upper level liquidation here. Some late shorts, of course, finally successful. But they're probably playing that overextension, because we can see here, we are at a 9 on TD sequential here, just before the price pulled back. And this makes sense. We basically ran for a full, 36 hours without pullback. There's a certain point that you get to where you have to, where most coins will retrace, okay? And we're there, obviously, for AVAX. A lot of it helps the fact that Bitcoin is pulling back into the 62K range. So now that that's happening, we're seeing a strong capitulation from a lot of coins that are overextended. Having said that, we look at larger liquidation levels. There's $250 million at $29 right now, but not a lot left outside of the $22 to $21 mark. I don't think we're going to see $21 anytime soon. At this point here, we're probably more likely to see the price bounce off this local high at about $25.70 as a rough estimate. So I'm thinking we're going to see some kind of bounce off this level. But look at how perfect this is. We got this upper level here, this previous resistance. We draw a trend line out here. You can see the price wicked up here, essentially, spent some time up there, didn't hold that level and continue higher. Typically, when you range above a previous resistance, you're more likely to break upwards. Now that we've come down, we've overextended, essentially. We're seeing this fair value gap get filled. The point of me mentioning this here is that it's uncanny how often a previous resistance level is broken, the liquidation levels are swept, and the price pulls back as if it never happened. Okay, it's really, really common. So again, since we didn't actually consolidate at that 27.75 area or higher, and we lost that area, it makes a lot more sense for the price to be fairly range bound in this current area. Okay, we'll talk about that here too. We'll tighten up the charts. I'll post our playout chart on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord as well, just so you understand. We're going to draw some new fibs here, of course, because the price has continued past its previous resistance, and we're kind of going to go from there. So fair value gap on the larger time frames, it shows as low as 0.5 fib. At 24.65 could be the lowest point for us. This aggressive candle is not very good. You don't like to see that. That's generally construed as a bearish sign, even though it's still green right now. That's basically a hammer down, and those are not good. Either way, I'm not saying the sky's going to fall for AVAX. I'm just saying that this is natural and normal, and it makes sense here for the price to consolidate more in this range before it breaks out, because that's obviously a key level resistance at the I'm just going to say $28 range to make it easy. Either way, fair value gap is low as 0.5 here. This would be a sensible place to get in between $24.50 and $26.50. Again, I'm spitballing there, of course. Those are not specific numbers. I'll provide more detail, of course, here on our playout chart and through our community. But the general consensus here is that we're still mostly bullish on the daily time frame. Okay, when we look at the moving averages, we're above all four. Wait, are we? No, we're above all three. The 200's trailing behind. But generally speaking, it's mostly bullish, right? We broke on our descending trend line, our macro trend line here, and the overall sentiment is still looking pretty decent, okay? And again, I can actually tighten this up here. I'll post this a little bit later, but generally speaking here, we've been above this descending trend for a couple of days, and that's generally a favorable sign. So likelihood of the price action pulling back, while still high, it may not pull back too far. Okay? And again, a lot of it hinges on Bitcoin. Bitcoin is running now at this point. I wouldn't say terrible, but it finally lost its support at 62.8, and it's moving on down to the next key fib level. We're looking for an entry in the 61 to 62K range. Okay, so that's just my general thought process there. We are potentially going to see somewhat of a bull flag / cup and handle pattern play out for Bitcoin. Still a little early to tell though. Okay. Either way, the reason I mention that is because that obviously factors in. We got to recognize what Bitcoin is doing to trade AVAX. So if Bitcoin continues to pull back, this fair value gap will get filled, and we will see a solid bounce off this area. The reason why I feel that way is a few reasons. Well, let's go ahead and zoom out a little bit and look at our macro point of control here. Again, we zoom out, we can kind of see this 0.382, that 2562, as a solid area of consideration for not just a long, but more so we got a ton of support. So ever since the price has dropped into this, the range of just say 18 to 30, we've seen the most amount of buying pressure at $26 as a solid round number. So $26 also being the local high seems practical for a bouncing / pivot point, considering that's also a fib level 2. Okay, so me, 0.382, that seems like a really good consideration for a long, somewhere in the range of 24.50 again to 25.50. Okay, as a loose approximate. So that's what the daily is telling us. What's the 4 hour saying? Well, there's a lot of things that the 4 hour is going to probably be telling us, but most of it's bullish. We're above all moving averages. We can see stochastic is swinging down. This is very standard for a correction like we're seeing. We're now under 70 in the RSI, so you should have secured profit. Okay. Anytime you come above 70 in the RSI, you leave your long position open. When it comes back down, that's when you close. Okay? The hourly will probably confirm that we are breaking down. Our lagging span is no longer free and clear of the price action. Strong consideration for closing your long position in the immediate future. Okay. So if you're watching this now, you're still in a long. I wouldn't say just close it now per se, but you may want to consider securing profits because there's no guarantee we're going to see the price bounce where it's at. It would seem more sensible for the price to pull back a little further just based on some of the things we've already discussed. I'm going to close out that little liquidation box there, and we can kind of extend this out here. We got a little bit of liquidation left down below. Once more, I'll send out a new playout chart here shortly. But the key takeaway here is that securing profits on a long position, honestly, if you're up 15, 20, 30%, what the hell are you doing? Why are you not securing profits? Why didn't you take profit on this one? Isn't that aggravating now? Don't you feel like crap because you could have taken money when you didn't? Yeah, it's a bad feeling. But again, that 7% correction is natural. This previous fair value gap has been filled. We have one left remaining down as low as that 24.70, upwards of about 25.60. So again, just reaffirming this area here as a strong support, potential pivot point. There's no guarantee it's going to pull back to that level, but if it does, that would be an excellent place to consider jumping at. Right now, let's take a look here at TD sequential. We can recognize we're at an 8, so we are pulling back pretty aggressive, but we are doubly overextended. So in again, this is hindsight, it's 2020, but look, we had a 9 here on TD sequential, overextended a second time. When you see 2 9s on TD sequential on the hourly, and you combine that with a 9 on the 4 hour, those are usually strong retracements. Again, which we're seeing right now. And this makes sense, right? We take a look at Bitcoin, it's starting to struggle. Most altcoins that are overextended are going to have that natural knee-jerk reaction, which is what we're seeing right now, to pull the price action down further, okay? So that's kind of where we're at. So again, best case scenario, the price bounces off this current fib level at 26.83. I don't think that's likely. I feel like Bitcoin might pull back just a bit further. And if it does, then a solid consideration again is this 25.60 range. For entry target 1, entry target 2 would be somewhere in the range of 24.70. Okay? And when I say entry target 1 or 2, if you're not part of my community and you don't know how I trade, I'd usually like to have multiple entries. That's just me personally. I like to average in or average out. Okay. And again, most professional traders will do that. I'm not emphasizing that is what I am. I guess I am technically. I've been trading for over 20 years. This is my full-time job. But what I'm getting at is responsible traders, probably a better way to describe it, are going to average in and average out. They're not just going to go $1 million here and close $1 million there. You're going to want to segue in and segue out, so to speak. And the reason why is because you can secure profits and still let the rest ride just in case. And that's where additional profit targets are helpful. So that's why I provide multiple targets on for my trades, not just because I like to average in, but I like to give people options too as to where they go because everyone has different risk tolerance, right? Anyways, that's kind of where we're at there. So other than that, the last thing I want to touch on here would be the Ichimoku Cloud on the hourly. And again, you see the lagging span here getting really close to price action. Conversion line starting to well, it's getting close to the price, the lagging span to, or no, the baseline rather. Easy way to translate it is that we're almost to a point in which the price action may be shifting its momentum and direction. While you could obviously see on the charts that it has already shifted momentum, it was so overextended that it takes a little while for that to lag to occur. Me personally, when I see that 4-hour crossover of the RSI at 70, that leads me to believe that I should have secured profits a while ago. Once more, I know hindsight's 2020. Either way, at this point here, my consideration is to get in this range. I will highlight that in our trade alerts for our committee. Future reference, we do have those available to our Pioneer members and higher. And this is essentially just an area in which you can kind of get an idea or a concept of what I'm planning to do with my trades. Okay. So I pretty much talk about that in my videos every day anyways, but in case you didn't get it, those are like the bullet points. Again, trade alerts become signals, and I essentially trade based off of that sentiment there. Okay, that's where we're at there, folks. I hope that makes sense. Thanks again so much for watching, and also the amazing continued support. I could not believe how much people went to bat for me recently when my channel was compromised. Okay, so really cool stuff. I'll probably send out a separate video kind of explaining what happened with that and how to prevent that, because I think it's important to learn from everything, especially our mistakes. And that's really what it boils down to with trading too, folks. You gotta learn from your mistakes. If you don't, why are you trading? Why are you living? Honestly, it's dumb to keep doing the same thing over again. That doesn't work. So learn what you can and be the best person you can too. All right, thanks again for your time. We'll see you next one. Take care.